Hi guys, my name is Michelle. Welcome to my channel, Guided Metanoia. I'm a certified holistic life coach, new to YouTube. I'm also a tarot reader. I've been reading since I was 13, and I am a novice astrologer. I've only been studying astrology for the past 5 to 7 years, but I'm pretty versed in Western astrology. However, Vedic astrology is just a totally different ballgame, and I'm just like ever learning Vedic astrology. But I wanted to create the channel because back in 2009, I started undergoing my own process of self-transformation, and which was very difficult because my life before spirituality, if you could say, was primarily focused on me, myself, and I was studying music. I was a vocal performance major and jazz and blues singer. And so everything that I had known about myself up until that particular point was revolving around music and my pursuits in music and as a musician and things like that. But when I graduated college, I just sort of hit a really big brick wall, and it forced me to re-examine myself and my life and my choices and to basically create a new me. And that process is what I would say is still happening, but really took about the next, I'd say 7 years. And it took me down a very deep spiritual path, and I want to use what I have learned throughout my own process to help other people in theirs. And so that's why I created the channel. And as a life coach and as a tarot reader and as somebody who studies astrology, I try to use all of those combined in a way that will help you to develop along your path. And so like I said, I'm new to YouTube, and I'm doing my best to keep up with the planetary alignments and try to get these videos out. However, I realized pretty quickly I wasn't necessarily set up, but I'm committed to the process, and so I'm throwing myself in completely. And as Leos, I know you guys can understand what I mean when something just lights up your heart. You just gotta go, make it happen. It'll happen along the way. So I'm really excited to be here, and thank you so much for coming to check out the channel. And now that you know a little bit about me, I'm going to be doing the reading for Leos. Hi, Leos. What can I say about Leos? Gosh, you guys are really beautiful people. Oddly enough, though, I don't tend to have a lot of Leos around me, and that's probably because y'all are so independent. Like, y'all are always doing your own thing. I know people that are Leos, but I don't tend to have any that are in my particular intimate, immediate sort of circle of people. But we vibe really well, and I kind of feel like the friendships that I've had with Leos are always the kind that are like, go do your own thing, and when we circle back, like, we still good, kind of thing. So as far as the astrology goes, I know you guys have, let me take a look at it here. You guys have Jupiter's in your 5th house, which is great for your sense of self-expression, your own passionate pursuits, having fun, maybe going on vacation, maybe even talking about things like intimate things in your relationships, like wanting to have children and stuff like that. But really, the way that I see the current alignments is like for your 6th house. Your 6th house has Saturn and Pluto retrograde, and it's like if you haven't been having health issues or changes to your work routines, those sort of daily habits, the discipline of daily habits. I know in Vedic astrology, the 6th house also represents like, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a total blank right now. in Vedic astrology, Virgo's 6th house, healers, medicine. For some reason, the thought of prison and jail comes to mind. So that's a heavy hitter. Saturn and Pluto are, they are strict disciplinarians, if you will, and they are going to teach you about how important your health is, and how, if you expect to do anything in the world, you are going to have to put your body first, not your heart first. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Sorry. A whole bunch of cards just legitimately just went flying out of the deck. So let's see. Oh my word. Okay. All right. I'm just going to keep those all like in a cluster together and see if we can't make something out of that. So, yeah, so your 6th house is there. I know that Neptune is in your 8th house. So things like sex, things like intimacy, other people's money, taxes, and debt, Neptune's there. And so it's a kind of wishy-washy situation. I don't know that you're able to really see things for what they really are at this particular point in time. But I will say that those energies, being in Pisces, there's an illusionary quality. It's not like a complete fog, but you may be experiencing, the word that comes to mind is fantasy. And being that Scorpio is also a fellow water sign, there's definitely things that are tying to that in a romantic sense. So give me a second. I want to look at 9th house, 10th house. Okay, so Uranus is in your 10th house in Taurus, your career zone. So things are definitely changing there. Shifting, altering. Are you doing what you need to be doing? Are you investing in a career that is gonna last you a really long time? Or are you taking those like small gigs that are just getting you some quick cash kind of thing? And if so, are you saving your money? Like, those are things that tend to come to my mind when I think about that particular transit. And then we've got in the beginning of the month, you know, Venus and the Sun are in Gemini, which could really spark up some fun and interesting, flirtatious conversation about all the fun things that you do and how fun you really are. And it's possible that you could be joining up with people that you don't typically, and you could be gaining prospective love interest, dare I say, from those new connections, communities, and groups. But it could also just be aligning you with this really beautiful, like, call to action. That's not what I wanted to say, and like that's what still came out of my mouth anyway. Yeah, an intrinsic call of action, call to action. So let's get into more of the tarot reading. I'm sorry that was a little bit long, but I'll try to time stamp like when the reading actually starts, and you have a fast forward button, so y'all make it work anyway. Here we go. And you'll have to forgive me because I didn't necessarily have the equipment that I thought was going to be necessary. So I'm doing the best that I can, and don't judge me too harshly. So I've got the 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands here. I really like this card. It is so pretty. Like, look at that. That's a perfect tattoo. Oddly enough, I have a few tattoos, and people are always so surprised by that. They're like, you have tattoos? You don't look like the kind of person that would have tattoos. Anyway, back to you. So the 8 of Wands in reverse. I think energy and momentum. You know, there's not too many planets. There's nothing really going through your first house. So this could give way to just the fact that things don't seem to be in alignment with your particular timeline. If you're waiting for some type of communication that is yet to come in, And if you are, and there's something about this that kind of gives way to the cycles of communication, though. So we'll see how that evolves as the reading goes on. And then we have the death card in reverse, which reminds me of Scorpio, which takes me to your 8th house, and that is where Neptune is. And so communication may not be as precise or as forward or as specific or as definitive as you want it to be at this particular point in time. And that may have something to do with the Scorpio transit in the Scorpio transit. What am I saying? Your 8th house transits. There's also this cycle of communication that needs to kind of end. Maybe are you the one that's being a little too fiddle-faddle, for lack of a better term, not saying specifically what it is that you need and communicating that in a particular way? Because with the sun being in Gemini and Gemini being ruled by Mercury, I don't doubt that you ask for what you want. Because like as a fire sign, it's just you're so in connection with it, and it feels so weird because for me to perceive that type of energy in my body, it goes to show me that I block out what is really in my heart. And that may be the same process. You may be a little bit, maybe it's hard for you to communicate these kind of things right now. Maybe it's a little too serious. Maybe it's a little too heavy. Let's see. Then we have another 8. 8 of Cups in reverse. Well, 8 is 8 is a pretty powerful number, and both of them being in reverse kind of may indicate to me that you are not feeling, and the 8th house, 888, it indicates to me that I don't necessarily think that you feel like you are in your most powerful power, that you're in your power. I'm sorry. I'm sure you can probably hear my dogs. Oh, this is a good story. So really quick, and I do have a tendency to tell stories because I think metaphorically things will resonate better, even if I don't have to tell you what you need to specifically do. Our cat, her name is Mama. She has like she's got a nipple infection, and so she had to go to the vet. My husband just took her, and so that's why my dogs are like a little on edge right now. But she would not go. She would not get in her crate. She didn't even scratch me, which was what was really weird about the whole thing. She just was using her voice in this way that was just so like, you better back up. You better back up right now. Do not touch me. I didn't even have to really pick her up at all. I just was so intimidated by her voice and by her growling that I didn't even get to, needless to say, we had to push back her appointment because I could not get her in the crate. And so I don't know why this story is kind of relaying right now, but if you're in a very touchy-feely kind of place and may not be feeling in your best, maybe feeling at your best, there's something in particular to it. So all these eights in reverse, although the death is a different number. But the 8th house is what I'm seeing. There is a very particular, I don't know why the energy is feeling just really blocked. It's interesting. Let's see. Okay. Then we have the King of Cups in reverse. Yeah, for real. What are your claws out right now? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. You have the opportunities to basically go out and adventure and explore, express yourself, but I'm a little confused as to why why it's not being done, you know, in the ways that that you most want them to be. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? 8 of Cups in reverse. Not walking away from something that you need to walk away from, something that's not fulfilling you. 8 of Wands. Swift communication in reverse. What is with the block? There's blocks. Blockages. King of Cups. You are not controlling your emotions right now. What's in your 7th house? No, you have Aquarius. I don't see anything in particular in your 7th house. Okay. All right. Anyway, back to you. So, yeah, like, what is the deal? The Sun. This is, some people say that this card represents Gemini. Honestly, I don't really see it that way. Other readers perceive this as being being Leo. And I don't know that I'm even set on the Sun necessarily being Leo. When I see the Sun, first of all, when I think of the moon, and everybody thinks of Cancer, the Sun is the opposing force of the moon, and well, that would be Capricorn. So anyway, either way, the Sun represents all the masculine forces. It also represents, in a psychological terms, awareness. Are you not seeing that you're not, is it your awareness that is being blocked right now? I honestly, I'm having the most difficult time with this particular reading, and I just feel like you're off. You're off right now. I hope that this isn't the energy that is going to be evolving throughout the entire month of June. It is possible that I'm just picking up on the energies for today. And what is today? The 28th of May. But there is something about you not seeing either what you're doing. You're not wanting to see this. Or it's that Neptunian energy that's just like really messing with shit. and not in the fun way, because not seeing, that's that fog, that's that fogginess, that's that 8th house levels of depth and intimacy. And in order for you to sort of share that type of passion with someone else, that level of compassion with someone else, that level of intimacy, that level of sex, you have got to have that intimacy with you. And it's possible that Neptune is certainly messing with your quote unquote mojo, So, excuse me, the Tower, Uranus in Taurus. We said that was your 10th house, wasn't it? Didn't we say that? Right? Yeah. Yes. I don't have to look. Yes. I'm so sorry, because, well, maybe I shouldn't apologize, because it's like ripping the Band-Aid off of something. Yes, it pinches at first, but then you're like, oh, it can heal now. Uranus is messing with stuff. It's coming in. It's eradicating things. This is also an eradication of the ego. So who you think you are is certainly being tested, because your projection of it out into the world is just, gosh, okay, this is making a little bit more sense. Like all this smoke and mirrors, games, that Neptunian energy. I think who you think you are and your ability to serve that in the world through your career is certainly being adjusted at this time. And it may even feel like the rug is being pulled out from underneath you. And of course, that doesn't feel comfortable. And it's going to make you shift into something that you haven't really had to be, because it's going to take you to a very vulnerable place. Of course, the unexpected always does that to us. We don't have a way to contrive our sensibilities in the heat of the moment. So the tower is going to come in. It's going to shake something up. And so whether you're ready for the ending or not, it's coming. There's an ending that's coming because things aren't being reciprocal. Things are not being treated. You're not being treated fairly. You're not getting what it is that you really need or that you're worth. And so there's themes of that in particular that are coming to mind. And I just am curious. Sixth house. Yeah, the health situation. Okay. So, by the way, I don't think I've shared this in any of the other videos yet, but I'm dyslexic. So that's probably the most difficult thing in astrology for me is that once I have to start thinking about accesses and like counting numbers, my brain just does this thing where it's like, huh, what do you need? I can't do that right now. And so I have to like literally manually be like 1, 2. So sorry, I would love to be like that. And perhaps someday I will. Sixth house. Yeah, I see you trying to get better with your health. I do. And you may not feel like it's making any improvement. You may see that it's just falling away. And I gotcha. Okay. I see him looking at this situation. He's like, but that's why I don't feel good. My body doesn't feel good. I see. No matter what I'm trying to do, it still hurts. There's a pain. Okay. Well, whether you like this or not, the thing I want to, okay, so 8th, 9th house is, oh my gosh. Okay. I think this doesn't really necessarily represent the King of Cups and the Two of Cups. And I'm not even sure how I got to getting on to 9. It was weird. Like my brain just was like going to the number 9. You have to go into your emotions. There is something that hasn't been healed for a very long time. A very long time. And it's because you have not been able to get not even a handle on your emotions. Just like having a conversation with them. You don't know how to talk about your emotions. You don't know how to, there is no, this communication about this heart space, which is so weird because that's what Leos do. That's what I think of. But there is a lack of emotional understanding. You don't see eye to eye with you. I think you need to forgive yourself about something. I do. I think you need to forgive yourself about something. I don't know why I went 9, 7, 8, 9. That would be Sagittarius. It's possible that you may have to, some type of learning needs to come into play. You may have to study about something. You maybe have to read up on something about your health. You may have to get more training, more education for your career. It's weird because it's I don't really even necessarily see the cards for going back to school. So you may not have to go back to school, but you may have to pursue some higher learning. I also think that your faith is being tested. And I don't necessarily even see that in the cards. It's really weird. I just have some of these messages that are coming through my brain. So I want to see. I think your ability to express yourself is somehow being encumbered by your your health, because your body doesn't feel good. Your emotions don't feel good. You don't feel good. But what I don't think you realize is this is helping you develop the most important connection. The most important connection. This doesn't have to be, yes, it's about connecting with other people. It will help you to connect better with other people for sure. But I just, even though I'm looking at the Two of Cups, I just get this like, I know myself better because of this other thing. I know myself. Because of this other thing, I know myself. And you have got to keep your wits about you throughout this particular experience, because it's going to be going on for like another year. I don't remember how long it takes Pluto to transit, unfortunately. I think it's definitely longer than Saturn. Ace of Swords. There's going to be some type of new revelation that is coming to you throughout the month of June, and I think it's going to give you some kind of peace of mind. Definitely. And dare I even say, like, something from your subconscious is going to come up, because you have the North Node in your 12th house, and the Mars is going to be in your 12th house. And yeah, so there's some type of subconscious emergence that's going to come through. And it may be about how you have failed to leave certain things behind, that you are carrying things mentally that need to be moved on from. And then we had this whole cluster of things. King of Pentacles. I think you've had to become a little bit more selfish than I think you are normally, because I know you guys are just generous, just incredibly generous, but it's forced you to become very selfish. And by selfish, I mean you've had to focus on you, and other people may think that that's selfish. But this is a very valuable life lesson that you're having to learn. And it is going to utilize this is your card, your strength. This is really teaching you this kind of perseverance, my word, and to like give up just like really petty things that may have hindered you before. Oof, nope, done with that. There is something that you're not seeing, something just out of your periphery, which when you realize what it is, when you can see it, and I think it's going to have something to do with this, with the Neptune transit. When we move out of that, you're going to be gifted a new opportunity. It'll put you in a better position to see what investments, maybe even investments is not the best idea, but where you need to be putting your energy. And if this is certainly about career, right? So I said things are coming down, things are changing. You weren't necessarily being treated fairly, although I still see this as being more about your health. Some type of partnership opportunities coming in. You're going to be able to see the possibilities of that in a particular way, but I don't necessarily think you want to move in a different direction. So there's something holding you back. You will be able to focus on work. And I love this, like the Seven of Wands. It's like this emergence of action from your heart space, like literally. The emergence of forced action from your heart space, okay? Giving up unnecessary conflict, still not necessarily being able to see the full picture, but you being able to stand in some level of truth with something that you've learned, a very valuable token that you take with you for the rest of your life. For those of you that, if there's an emergence of a very beginning relationship, I think perhaps you could see yourself as getting married to this particular person. But you need to do for you right now. I get it. I totally get it. I do. There's not so much about you giving to other people. This is very much about you investing in you and your future and what you would like to create. And it is something worthy of your heart's desire. And you can be a little defensive about it, absolutely. And you can put your nose to the grindstone and you can work with what your body is giving you. And I think that you really need to get in touch with your emotions, because there's something, for sure, there is definitely something here about how your emotions affect your health. I don't know any other way to say it. And the more that you can become disciplined about your relationship to that, I think the more prosperous you will become. So I have got the Osho Zen Tarot deck, and I'm going to pull a card for you, kind of like an oracle card. I'm pretty new to the Osho Zen Tarot deck, and for the other readings that I've done so far, it's been really good. It's come out pretty good. So let me pull a card for you. Energies for Leo, please. Okay. We are the world. How beautiful. Ten of Rainbows. We are the world. 156. Okay. I really like this tarot deck because it's got a lot of like Buddhist principles, and I thoroughly enjoy studying Taoism and Buddhism and Hinduism. So, we are the world. Humanity is depicted here as a rainbow of beings dancing around the mandala of the earth with their hands joined in joy and gratitude for the gift of life. This card represents a time of communication, of sharing the riches that each of us brings to the whole. There is no clinging here, no grasping. It is a circle without fear of feeling of inferiority or superiority. When we recognize the common source of our humanity, the common origins of our dreams and longings, our hopes and fears, we are able to see that we are all joined together in the great miracle of existence. When we can combine our tremendous inner wealth, which comes through your health, just saying, inner wealth, to create a treasure of love and wisdom that is available to all. We are linked together in the exquisite pattern of eternal creation. So, I hope that you've enjoyed your reading. I look forward to... Sorry about that. I clicked the wrong button. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the reading. I could feel that was a little heavier than I expected, and I think rightfully so. But please continue to come back. I'd love to see what happens for mid-June. Like, subscribe, and share. Feel free to check out my social media, and I look forward to working with you guys in the future. Namaste.